Science.
This is Rando Science. This is episode 5 with Jack Sims.
5 episodes.
5 episodes.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, we made it. Big milestone. If you're listening and you want to support us, there's a lot of ways that you can do that. You're already doing the first one if you're hearing this, which is listening on Apple, Spotify, or Google. Yeah. If you want to take that to the next level, then you can support us on Patreon or Anchor. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/randoscience.
Yep.
Super simple to sign up.
Give us your money.
It will help us get better equipment and make better videos for you guys.
Yep.
So this week we have Jack Sims. Jack works on a submarine.
Hey, Jack.
That's like the best I can even describe what you do. I know so little
I don't
about
know anything else about what you do.
So tell us a little about that. Working on
yeah. There's a lot to talk about, honestly, and a lot that I also can't talk about.
Yeah, I was kind of curious as to like what you can't talk about.
I can definitely talk about.
Tell us what you can't talk about.
Yeah, so like life on a submarine, I can talk about that. As far as like where we go, what we do, like whenever we're on mission, that kind of stuff is heavily guarded, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody went and knocked on my door tomorrow if I told you so. But my submarine, I'm on the USS Hartford. It's up here in Connecticut, right on the water, and we've got about 150 people on the boat. That includes about 12 officers. I'm one of those guys. And then the rest are enlisted. And they're kind of like the actual workers. We're like kind of the supervisors. So,
so are you
if you're not like, I am considered a nuke.
What does
to
that
be
mean?
A nuke, you just have to be nuclear trained. So you have to go do some kind of engineering type school, and then you get picked up for the nuke program pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually signed up for it my junior year of college, and they turned
Really?
me down because of my ACT score.
Oh, man.
And which was ridiculous because I had a 23, and I was also a junior at the time, and I had a 3.4 GPA in computer engineering. So I was like, I feel like my ACT is not a good indicator of whether or not you should.
Yeah, especially since you got into college and you're already there.
Yeah.
Your ACT should kind of go away once you get into college. I think.
Agree. It should have no impact on anything else.
And then also like, computer engineering, I think a lot of people would agree is like a difficult major. And he's got a
I have a 3.4,
and like that's
for sure
not good enough. I don't know. It's like it's a little strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you started at Auburn, right? Like and you're doing
there's
chemical
engineering. Yep, I did chemical engineering with pre-med because I thought in this fictional world I would go be a doctor somewhere. But after
a lot of people thought that when they started college.
once I got to my junior year, I realized that I didn't want to go do like 10 more years of school. I wanted to go do something kind of cool, and I figured submarines sounded kind of cool, so that's what I'm doing now.
They definitely sound cool.
That's awesome. That's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah. So
it is.
Is it difficult being on a submarine though? Because I imagine like you're like if you deal with any sort of like claustrophobia or anything like that, like I imagine that gets to you, like depending on how long you're on it. How long are you like under usually?
So the longest that I personally have been like out, away from land is about 3 months. But like deployments on submarine can last anywhere between 8 and 12 months. So during that time, though, a lot of people think you're not staying underwater the whole time. You can pop up, and it really is just like an old timey movie where you hop on a periscope and you kind of look around, right? So the claustrophobia isn't really a big deal unless you're like 6'4". Most of the you will have to duck in a lot of places, but the submarine is huge. Like a lot of people don't know that submarines are about 4 stories and the length of a football field. So,
damn.
If I wanted to,
I want to see one now. Like, I want to see one in person, dude.
That's pretty dope.
Jeez, that's massive. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, if you wanted to walk the whole length of the boat, it does take a considerable amount of time. So I never felt claustrophobic, especially since, we have like a treadmill, full weight set. You have places like that. And it's also not the biggest submarine either. So there's definitely bigger submarines.
That's wild.
For some reason, it just like made me think of the movie Atlantis with like
See,
those giant,
the movie that I've been thinking
those
of.
giant like fish-looking.
Oh, I know what you're
submarines,
talking about. Yeah,
yeah.
That movie was wild.
Yeah,
but
except we don't have any windows.
You couldn't tell us if you had those, right? Like,
if we had what?
If you had those fish-looking submarines from Atlantis,
yeah.
Oh,
that'd probably be classified.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Those are probably in Area 51 somewhere.
Yeah, I am pretty jealous though. They have a lot of windows on their submarines, and we have zero. So
yeah,
I'm pretty jealous of that.
Yeah.
Are there submarines? So this may be a dumb question. Are there submarines with windows? Because I imagine it's like a difficult challenge in terms of pressure if you're going deep.
Yeah, I don't know actually, and you don't even use the periscope whenever you go underwater. So you only use the periscope to kind of poke out of the water and kind of do sneaky stuff. So
sneaky stuff.
So there's no way for you to see what's around you.
Interesting.
So do you have your golden dolphins?
I do not. No, I've only been on the submarine. I've been on the submarine less than a year. Typically, you get your gold dolphins around the year mark. Some people take a little bit longer, but
Really?
It's a wide range. For people who don't know what gold dolphins are, everybody in the military works towards a certain qualification, and that qualification basically means that you are a qualified individual to do your job. So I am qualified certain parts. So I'm qualified the nuclear plant back aft in the boat, but up forward in the boat, which is kind of more like driving the boat, I'm not qualified that. So I can operate the nuclear reactor. I just can't drive the boat. So once I can do both, let me drive the boat. Yeah.
Sorry.
You sound a little salty about that.
No,
I've heard that so many times.
I've driven the boat, but I've driven the boat just with a instructor, basically. It is.
Do y'all have like a simulator to where you like?
We do, yeah. There's a lot of simulators. Basically, every Navy base will have some kind of training facility. And it's almost like a little IMAX. If you've ever been to an IMAX, except it's
so cool.
Yeah,
it's 360 degrees around you, and you walk up a staircase, and you kind of are in this big bubble where everything's a screen. So it's almost like if your VR glasses were just scooted out, so you can like look around at everything.
Dude, that's so
it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that is neat.
That's super neat.
Yeah. So how did you talk about like the transition from studying chemical engineering and thinking you were going to be a doctor into becoming this, like nuclear,
Yes. Yeah. So to be fair, I still can do chemical engineering after this, and I can still be a doctor after this. So neither of them, I'm like completely out. I'm like, you know what? I want to be on a submarine for my entire life. Which you can do. That's not my current plan. So the contract that I signed is for 5 years on a submarine. So whenever I was a junior, kind of same thing for pretty much anybody in engineering. You kind of start looking for a job around your second semester junior year. So all of my friends were getting jobs at chemical plants, working at like petroleum companies, paper mills, things like that. And I did. I went and toured quite a few chemical plants, and it always seemed very, very mundane and very boring. So if I was a wiser man, I would have figured that out earlier on in my chemical engineering path. So
a lot of people experience that. They get like so deep in the major, and they're like, oh no, I don't like this.
This is awful. Get me out of here.
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
But
the real world's approaching fast.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to work for a chemical company down in Mobile, Alabama, and
Oh, mobile.
it was my stepdad actually had a long chain of relations with a coworker's son was in the Navy, and he was like, I think I know someone who is an officer in the Navy, and he's lived in Australia, he's lived in Hawaii, and I was
Oh, that
like,
would be
that
so cool.
sounds pretty tight. So
Pretty
I
tight.
I called up a recruiter in Birmingham, Alabama, and I was like, hey, I want to be in the Navy. I want to fly jets. I was like, that'd be super cool. Yeah. And
What?
I want to be
and
in the Navy
obviously,
and
Wait.
obviously,
fly jets.
I'm not flying jets right now, so something had to happen. Yeah. But
No, yeah.
he was like, your talent would be wasted flying jets. That's for those Top Gun kind of jockey, hot-headed goofballs. You need to
Yeah.
do something with your chemical engineering degree, make a lot of money, and then talents are wasted. That's really like a recruiting ploy. Realistically, I bet flying jets would be super dope.
Oh my
But
gosh, yes. Flying a jet would be so dope.
They're like, no,
yeah,
we can't get anybody to do this like engineering stuff, so we're just gonna try and yeah.
exactly. Let me
your
hype
your
it up a little
talents are
bit.
wasted.
Right.
Jeez.
Oh man.
So
So
yeah, so I
oh,
did. I took the bait, and he was like,
You
"All
fell
right, we'll
for it.
sign you up, and you can either go work on a nuclear submarine or a nuclear aircraft carrier." And I picked submarines, and that's the story so far.
interesting. What just like why submarines over aircraft carriers?
Yeah, so
At the
aircraft
time.
carriers. Yeah, at the time, right? So aircraft carriers have thousands of people on them. It's like a small city.
Right,
There's
right.
also we only have 7 aircraft carriers in the United States. Maybe 8. I actually don't know the number. It's somewhere in there, around there.
Okay.
But
Less than
submarines have
10.
about 150 people on them. So
Okay.
I know everybody on my submarine, and I kind of liked the idea of knowing everybody and having like a really small team. Not to
Right.
mention, submarines are a lot more lethal. So like the
And you like that?
yeah, I like that.
I
Everybody
mean, if
wants
you
to
wanted to
be
fly
like,
jets,
Dude,
then yeah.
it reminds me of like Tom Segura, the comedian. He's like talking about his dad. He's like, every Thanksgiving, I just ask him about his time in the military. And he's always been like, no, like I never killed anybody. He's like, but one Thanksgiving, I got him a little drunk. And I was like, Dad,
Oh,
did you
yeah.
ever kill anybody in the military? And he was like, son, there's no better feeling than killing the enemy.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. There's a
This-
special on Netflix.
Yeah, that's going to be Jack.
no, but they on a submarine, there's not enough people to only have one job. So you do everything. You drive the
Yeah.
boat, you work on the engineering plant, you shoot the weapons. You do all of it. If you
Shoot
are
the
on
weapons. You said that one different.
if you are on if you're on an aircraft carrier, you're only doing the engineering, and then that's it.
Oh man,
So
I see.
aircraft carriers do have a Starbucks, though, a real Starbucks.
No
So
way.
I missed out on that.
Oh no,
Past
can't
the
get
oof.
your.
Do y'all have a little convenience store though? Because I know, and this is, I mean, I'm basing my evidence off of a movie here, so bear with me. If you've seen Down Periscope,
Yeah, I've seen Dylan Periscope.
I
You're
love
talking
that
about.
movie. It's hilarious, and they're
Yeah,
but
there's.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, not. They
Yeah,
you can typically there is like a black market on a submarine though, where
Yeah.
everyone will bring their own things, and you'll kind of trade.
no way.
So
That's awesome.
it's kind of
Sounds like
Black-
a
a lot
fun.
of
black market
kind of contraband goods.
contribution.
Tobacco is a huge one.
Yeah, I bet.
Hard drives filled with pretty much whatever you think is probably on a submarine. Exactly what
Oh
you
my
think.
God, that's hilarious. I love how he gave us that look, like
Whatever you
think.
think is on it.
That's so funny. Wow.
Yeah. Whenever it's only guys, some submarines do have women. Mine only has guys, so you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty rough. I just know in that movie he goes. There's the scene where somebody's at the convenience store or whatever, and there's a submarine above them, and he's listening to them, and he drops change, and he goes, "Somebody just dropped 45 cents." He goes, "Are you sure?" And he goes, "A quarter and 2 nickels, or a quarter and 2 dimes." You're like, okay. It's just so funny. Like how he knew exactly how much change he dropped. You're like, how would you possibly know?
I guess that's the kind of skills that you accumulate when you live on a submarine for a long amount of time.
Yeah, I guess.
Can you attest to that, Jack? Is that something that happens?
I would say like there's like a difference in radar and sonar, right?
Right.
So there's like radar, and then there's sonar, which kind of like listens. So I can't say like all the capabilities of it, but pretty much every submarine in the world uses sonar. So instead of us like looking at them or having some kind of like ping that comes back to us like a bat, I guess, you basically are just listening the whole time. Yeah. And you process all that information in a variety of ways, and you're like, well, it's kind of noisy over here, so he's probably over here. And then
wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, sonar is really cool in general.
Sonar is a very interesting technology.
Yeah, because like that Tesla, like the cars have a sonar array.
Was it one of what they use to like sense things?
Mm-hmm. One of their sensors. Yeah, they use sonar. They basically project a little field of sonar. Like they're spitting out sound and like
that's
figuring out how quickly it comes back. And it's because it's like at short distances, at least this is I think what they say is at short distances it's highly positionally accurate. Right?
Oh, okay.
So like so the sonar is like mainly, especially when you're driving, it's only for detecting like 1 or 2 cars like that are right in front of you or right behind you or to your side.
Yeah, I was going to say like in your blind spot or something.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, pretty neat stuff.
Wow, that's super cool.
Sonar is a cool technology.
Yeah.
So, firing weapons. Can you talk about what kind of weapons you've fired, or is that off limits?
Probably, I can't say the things that I have done. I can say like I'm trying to dance around what I can talk about. The various weapons that are available, pretty much anything you can find on Wikipedia. But so, there's 2 different types of submarines. There's in the United States, at least, we've got fast boats, which are kind of like highly maneuverable, pretty lethal, have a lot of like cruise missiles and torpedoes, basically.
Right.
And then you have your bigger submarines, and those carry nuclear weapons. And those are the kind of scarier ones, but they both do different things, right? So the small boats will go do kind of like rapid fire kind of strike operations. So if you remember a while back, whenever we sent Tomahawk missiles into Syria, that was a submarine that ended up doing that.
That's crazy.
Whereas, thankfully we haven't had a nuclear weapon launched off of a submarine ever. So you also don't hear about those. But pretty much every submarine will have torpedoes, and torpedoes are for shooting things that are underwater or other boats. And then fast submarines will have some kind of cruise missile like a Tomahawk, and then the bigger ones will have the actual nuclear warheads. So it's pretty limited whenever you think about it. Whenever you only have like 2 different weapons, but whenever you can either shoot something that's underwater or shoot something on land, you don't really need anything else.
Right. Yeah. But, that makes sense. That's cool though. That's super cool. Like learning about submarines.
Submarines are super interesting. I was kind of bummed out when they like turned me down because I was pretty excited about it. Like I just thought it would have been really, because I spoke to a friend's dad who was working on a nuclear submarine in Hawaii.
Yeah,
and he was like, because I talked to him expecting him to kind of be like, don't do it because like it's too much time away from your family, this, that, and the other. But he was like, yeah, do it. He was like, I would have never like
There's
seen
no better
the world.
Feeling to kill the
Yeah, exactly. But he was like, I would have never seen the world the way that I did. He was like, I got to go to like Hong Kong and Australia and all these crazy, touristy places that everybody wants to go to, but I got paid to go to them.
Yeah.
And like get off the. He was like, I mean, do y'all get like 3 or 4 days off of the submarine when you
Most of the
somewhere?
time, yes. So like if we did pull into a foreign port, you would get, typically like a week of time to like kind of piddle around.
Right.
Given the state of like the virus going around right now,
Right. Yeah.
most submarines aren't pulling into ports. They're just kind of doing extended periods of, at sea time. But if not, then yes, they would definitely kind of pull in and give the guys a break between their like 4 months underwater. Nice week in like Spain or something, and then
Dude,
4 more months.
That would
So
be so cool. That would be so
It
awesome.
would be pretty neat, I think.
Just
yeah.
pull up at a foreign port, like just like come
like-
out of nowhere. Just like
It's
hey,
like you're
we're
on
here.
it's like you're on a cruise, but you might get attacked.
Exactly. That's
Just
what a
there's always
thrill.
this like looming threat of like, we might have to do some stuff.
We might. Yep.
it's fun.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'm imagining like Carnival now, like some.
knock off his hat.
Okay, there.
There
Sorry,
you go.
R2's graduating in 2020. He's
Which is the worst year to graduate, by
he's
the way.
a stand-in for everybody. Okay, I'm not fixing it.
Don't.
He's a stand-in for everybody that didn't get to have graduation.
Well,
Exactly.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Graduate vicariously through R2.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of funny. That's like me and Jack met at like an anime conference.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Was it the one in Atlanta? Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Dragon Con in
Dragon Con.
2017,
Wow.
probably.
Yeah, that was
something
the
like that.
first time we met.
That's awesome.
And I knew none of this. I had no idea what a badass he is.
Yeah. Apparently, he's a,
You realize
he's
there's
super
realistically, it's not the badass. It's now you realize how many giant nerds are actually in the nuclear
military?
submarine community.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all nerds.
Yeah.
Do you get
But
do you get trained with a weapon to be? I mean, like when you're your officer training camp or whatever.
Yeah. Officers only get trained for the 9mm pistol.
Right.
Everybody else gets like rifle training and stuff like that. But
In
officers
the
are
Navy,
kind of like,
they train with rifles.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Every
I didn't know
submarine has like a force protection kind of thing. So,
Right.
you'll have people that are, anytime the submarine pops up out of the water, you got to make sure that, small boats don't like run up on you or
Right.
stuff like that. So, machine guns, even stuff like that, shotguns, rifles, all those
Wow.
guys are trained with. The officers are really just like a dainty role where you just kind of have like a little James Bond pistol. So you can feel protected, but really you're just there as insurance.
Oh my god.
dang.
Wow.
Wow. I would have thought the opposite. I would have thought like the officers would be more heavily trained and like have more sort of like tactical.
Well, I think if you
expertise, I guess.
if you enlisted and worked your way up to officer, then yeah.
Oh,
And yeah,
I guess that's true.
you got
But
to
if
think
you-
like it's kind of
Go ahead.
like you're the commander of the troops, basically. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm back here as like like strategizing, and like I pick like, okay, these guys go here. It's pretty much the same principle as if you were controlling your troops and stuff. You don't really
If you were
need
like
a big
Napoleon,
weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Napoleon? What?
Why
Why is that the first one you thought of?
I don't know. It's just the first one I thought of. I just thought of the short guy on the horse.
The short guy.
You know about this? Like he had himself painted much taller than he actually was.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What a
I mean,
douche.
he was already pretty tall apparently though. Like that's another like common myth is that he was like 5'5" or something. He was like 6 foot, but he was so larger than life. He was like that short.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're
That's
really digging
hilarious.
deep into the Napoleon lore.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It just popped in my head. I don't know.
Popped-
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
all right, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Fun facts about
So,
Napoleon.
are you interested in sci-fi? Just any kind of.
Oh,
sci-fi?
for sure.
What's
for
your
sure,
favorite?
I
yeah.
met him at Dragon.
Well,
Con.
I figured.
I'm actually
Dragon Con. Go ahead.
right in the middle of reading Dune with I'd say a book club. It's really like my team on the boat.
Right.
We're all reading Dune, but whenever it comes to like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Ring trifecta, I don't pick a camp. I like them all. So.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Very cool.
That's what I like to hear.
I'm
a huge sci-fi.
Have you read 1984?
Yeah, I read that back in high school, I think.
Okay.
Are you trying to allude? Yeah. Oh, yeah. George Orwell's great.
I was just like curious, like dystopian futures and stuff like that.
I need to get into. I need to start reading. I don't read that much. I just lose interest so quickly that I'm just like, I'm gonna stop reading this.
No, I was just like curious, like, so from somebody who's got experience like in the military and gets to see classified material and whatnot, then I'm curious, like, where you think, like, is the future of the U.S. kind of in a secure place, or is it in a place where it could very well end up being like a dystopia? Or
so like every country does certain things to deter, like foreign aggression, right? So the fact that we have submarines with nuclear weapons on them is really just insurance that other countries don't do something stupid. So we have no intention of shooting a nuclear weapon, ever. Same with like foreign countries that you would probably consider kind of threatening, like Russia, China, North Korea, stuff like that. They have submarines, they have nuclear weapons, and they're doing the exact same thing. So the United States doesn't really have any threat of somebody like actually like launching something at us. If anything, it's going to be on like a really, really small scale, like like whenever Russia annexed Crimea, that's like a kind of like a pretty small hostile thing where no like giant world powers besides Russia got involved. But as far as like head to head real war kind of stuff, I don't see it ever happening. There's too much would end up having to happen.
Positive.
So and realistically, we don't even do anything that's like the last time that a submarine has sank another ship is like World War II.
Wow.
So we're in a very, very peaceful time. Most of the stuff submarines do now, like all countries.
You would have no idea that we were
because of like all of the media and everything. Like it's like always,
constant bad news.
Everything's falling apart.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it's very, very peaceful. A lot of countries do the same thing we do, where we just basically just keep an eye on them. That's pretty much what all countries do now.
Right.
It's kind of wild.
So do you think that you would want to revisit being a doctor after? Like, is that something
For sure. Yeah. No, I am actually very, very heavily invested in it at this point. I'm so my mom is a veterinarian and my dad is an ER doctor, actually. So I've seen my fair share of crazy medical, things, I guess. But so that's always been super interesting to me, and I think that I have a decent shot at having it work out afterwards. So I've got almost exactly 2 years left on my contract, and at that point, you kind of can do anything. So you've got an engineering degree, most likely. You've got years of military service in a pretty demanding field, nuclear experience. So I could do it. It's just kind of up to if I want to pump out another 12 years of school.
Yeah.
Golly.
12 years of school.
I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Do you have any idea like what kind of doctor that you would want to be?
Yeah, so it's I know what I want to be. Realistically, what I would end up being is it could be completely different. It's kind of like whenever the freshman says that they want to be, it's like, I want to work for Google. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's like, wow, they have no idea how hard that would actually be to do, but like, go for it. But I would love to be a cosmetic surgeon. So like plastics and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just because I've always been very, very into art. I love, you know, I love drawing. I love, human form, and I love seeing people, like be really satisfied with stuff. So whenever somebody's like, I've got like a bad scar right here I want removed, or like I need a nose job, stuff like that. Like the people are always like super, super happy about it when it's done.
Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of people, like a lot of people hear about plastic surgery or cosmetic surgeons, and they just like immediately think, like it's like liposuction and like boob jobs and stuff like that.
Right.
But like a lot of people don't realize that plastic surgeons are also doing things like cleft palates and scars and like, like
burn victims, things like that.
Burn victims. Yeah, like they're a lot of them are like helping people get like a positive self-image back after some sort of like trauma.
I think there's a lot of stigma about plastic surgery where kind of assume that it's all pain, and it's like, if you don't love yourself like you are, then that's your problem. You should never need plastic surgery. But I think that it can go a really long way as like huge self-esteem booster, things like that. My dad works in the ER, and if somebody comes in, he'll usually offer them the option. Like somebody gets in like a bad car wreck or something, I can sew you up, or we can call in the plastic surgeon, and he can do it his way. It'll be more expensive, sure, but he's probably going to do a little bit better job than I would sewing it up. And if it's like a young girl who like, has a terrible scar on her face, they'll be like calling a plastic surgeon. If it's some 70-year-old dude who like, cut his hand on a can, he's not going to call a plastic surgeon.
That's true. Right. Yeah.
So you broke up a little just then, but I think
we made it.
I think we're fine.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we'll probably put it through.
It'll make the cut.
If you're listening and you didn't enjoy that, we're sorry. But
for you guys, it looked like you were super engaged. Like you're both kind of like sitting here, like staring.
Yeah, just not even blinking.
Like wow, they really heavily invested in you.
No,
that's funny.
That is funny. No, that's cool though. So cosmetic surgery.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Because I mean, there definitely is this like negative stigma behind it. Of, like, I don't know, people just kind of assume like you should just be happy the way you are. You should just be like.
It's like it goes back to
the
like
Bruno Mars song.
Like just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
Don't do it.
That was the inspiration.
It goes back to what we were talking about with Connor on episode 2, where like it's like people don't want you to have like mental health. Like they don't. It's like there's so much resistance to like taking steps, taking positive steps towards feeling good about yourself.
Yeah.
And like I don't understand that, especially whenever those steps are like not really harming anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Like if getting a new nose is all it's going to take to make you feel better about yourself, is like, why not? You know?
Like
what's wrong with
it? Yeah, and like,
exactly.
And if it's like it's not putting you in financial debt, it's not putting like your parents in financial debt. Like it's not harming
anyone
like,
else.
Nobody in the chain of people affected is actually really getting hurt.
If anything, it's a positive thing for people because you're pumping money into the economy.
Yeah, exactly.
Ways, right.
And my pocket.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Well, I know you said you have some stuff to do after 11, so we want to respect, 11 hour time. We want to respect your time. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it was great having you.
There's all kinds of crazy questions. Realistically, there's a massive amount of stuff, like what it's like actually living on a submarine, or if people want to know more about that. Also, there's a ton of stuff that's not alluring about it. So I don't want to sound like a spokesperson, like you should join. It's actually probably one of the hardest jobs that I could even imagine. So
interesting.
Wow.
We'd love to have you back.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe we can have you on a follow-up episode. We can, talk more about like stories that you have. I would love to hear some.
Yeah, there's a variety of stories that would surprise you. So
okay, I would love
save
to
for
do
next
that.
time.
So
yeah, that would be
we'll
great.
have a follow-up episode with some submarine stories.
Ooh,
sounds good. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Hopefully I
thanks
could
for coming on.
answer a little bit and hang out with you guys for a little bit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
no, I
Look
think it
forward to
was
see
great.
what hat R2 wears next time.
You're a super cool guy, Jack.
Yeah. All right. See you, Jack.
Awesome. Well, thanks,
See you,
guys.
man.
You have a good one.
All right, Dylan, we did it. Episode 5 in the books.
Yep. We woke up and we were
Almost late.
Yep.
Almost late to the podcast.
Because last night we were hammered.
Yeah,
if anybody watched the last episode, we
did these back to back.
How many shots did we do?
I don't know.
7,
8,
something like that.
somewhere in there.
Jeez.
But yeah. So this one is was done back to back with our drunk episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, share our Instagram page. Follow us on Instagram.
If you didn't, leave us a hate comment.
Exactly. Follow us on Spotify too.
Yeah.
You know. And then finally, if you're really, really feeling the love, then you can donate some money. You can sign up to become our patron on Patreon. Patreon.com/randoscience.
Support us on Anchor.
You can support us on Anchor.
Yep.
Yep. So, or you can just tell your friends. That would be awesome.
Yep.
Like tell your friends about us.
Like and subscribe.
We've got some exciting
YouTube.
stuff coming. We've got a geologist on the next episode.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be lit.
Heck yeah.
So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
We love you. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Random Science.
Pew.